All right, this young lady is amazing. She's with us every Monday, and she kicked off the month in an extraordinary way. But I'm going to tell you this, my opinion. This is my opinion. This is just me. If you missed last Monday, you missed a humdinger. Yeah, humdinger. Yeah, I did. It was a storytelling of all storytelling. She had everybody on the side of their chair seats. People at work didn't even look at their boss. They were looking right at the camera. And people that don't even have their cameras on, look at Mr. Williams. They had their camera on. They had their camera on. They were watching intensely because she told a story of all stories. Let me tell you, I was sitting on the edge of my seat and I kind of know the story a little bit because I was just there in Paris, but that's where he got it from. But anyway, I just want to say thank her for last week because it blessed my socks off. I call people up, hey guys, got to go watch it, got to go watch it. I was down in Fresno. I was telling Mr. Chris King, if you didn't see it, you got to go watch it. We had breakfast in the morning. I told all the three guys, if you didn't see it, go watch it because it was powerful. So without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Regional Vice President, a little north of Sacramento. She's also an entrepreneur. She's also a mother to a beautiful daughter. She's a great wife to her husband, Mr. Brad. They have several different businesses. She's also a caretaker, and she's also a community leader up in her neck of the woods there. Let's give a warm welcome to none of the great Miss Keri Roeder.
Good morning. Thank you for that compliment, Mr. Thomas. That's awesome. And thank you for the message after. Storytelling is something I've learned from you. It is an effective way to get a message across. And so I appreciate that compliment. And, it's a lot of fun being able to just simply forward what I'm learning from you to the amazing team that we have here today in the future team. And I see a lot of new names, which is awesome. So welcome. Here's what I want you to know is the gentleman who just opened up our morning, and happy Monday morning, by the way. He doesn't need me. He doesn't need all the other leaders. We actually just simply forward on what he's taught us. I've had the privilege of being trained by him for 14 years now. And all I do is I take all of my notes, right? And I just simply say it and kind of put my own spin on it and personality. And then people go, wow, that's brilliant. Hey, thanks. Right? It's actually not me, right? It's amazing leaders like Mr. L. Thomas, our Senior Vice President. So thank you for the compliment. Thank you for acknowledging last week's event. And so now the pressure is on. Anyway, so happy Monday. I love starting. I'm glad I was able to move to Mondays. It's just such a great way for me to start my week. It is actually a great way for me to end my weekend because I spend all week just kind of just listening as to what needs to be communicated. I used to ask Mr. Thomas, what do you want me to talk about? And he'd always say, whatever's on your heart, whatever comes to you. And so during the week, and especially during the weekend when I'm preparing for these calls, I believe in energy, and I know that we exchange energy, and I really try to focus in on, okay, what do people need to hear? What do I need to hear in order to be successful, not just in ACN, everybody, it's successful in all areas of our life. And this month we have talked about how we show up, right? We've talked about our facial expressions, how we contribute to the events and stuff like that. And so last week's storytelling was just kind of pulling all that together. Well, I network a lot because that is how I meet new people, right? Been in ACN for 14 years and I've beaten the bushes only so many times. I'm about to do it again though, because 14 years, so why not, right? Call people back again. You never know when the time is going to be right. But I attend a lot of different networking events to meet new people. And I belong to one event that actually Mr. Douglas Wolf knows a few people in there. And one of Douglas's customers is a big advocate of ACN. And every chance he gets, he tells everybody, I've been a part of Keri's services for years through one of her business partners, Douglas Wolf. And so, which is really cool. But anyway, this particular event, yes, you're amazing, Douglas. And I'm super proud of everything you have going on. But this particular event is a networking event and it's non-exclusive. And what we do there is we each take a turn in rotating who does a 10 to 15-minute presentation. But you can't do a presentation on your business. You have to do a presentation of a topic that helps other people become more successful in their business, more successful in life, right? Well, I've done the presentation or several presentations because now I'm now they invited me to be an ambassador, blah, blah, blah. So I'm constantly in front of that room doing stuff. And so I'm obviously doing mindset, type of stuff. Well, this past Wednesday, the gentleman who was doing his 10 to 15-minute presentation is actually a financial advisor. Okay. He's a financial advisor. So let me kind of help you understand this. He's a financial advisor, meaning he'll give you a free consultation, but then, after that, it costs money to be able to do things with him. And he's the kind of gentleman that Mr. Al Thomas would go to help manage his money, help make more of the money he's making. Okay. And so this gentleman chose a mindset topic. And as he was going through this mindset topic, fortunately, he gave us paper. And as I was listening to him, I was thinking, wow, this is exactly what we talk about in ACN. And I was like, this is what I'm going to talk about on Monday. And at the end of his formal part of the presentation, he already told me he was going to pick on me. I got to pick a number, and he opened a book. He was referencing a book, and he opened a book to that page, and he read most of the page, and it was just so relevant to ACN, to what we do here. And I'm thinking, well, duh, that makes sense, right? He's a financial advisor. Well, what do we do here in ACN? We teach people how to start a business, acquire customers, build the leverage to build our income. So we're kind of like financial advisors. I was like, that's pretty interesting, right? So I really hope that you understand that this information is going to sound, for those of you who've been around ACN for a minute, it's going to sound familiar. Okay. So those of you who are new, I always tell everybody, listen, when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me because I can actually see me. Okay. But when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me. So as we have this conversation this morning, know that these concepts about mindset that come from a financial advisor who has nothing to do with ACN, I want you to take that in for a minute. Okay. So what do financial advisors do? They work with people who come with this mindset. They work with people who maybe don't have the financial substance they want, but when they can shift their thinking about money, they can help them grow their money. Okay. So today I'm going to actually share my screen. So this is a book that this gentleman, his name is Lee, talked to us out of. And I'm going to buy the book, actually. It's called 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class: The Thought Process, Habits, and Philosophies of the Great Ones by Steve Siebold. Now, I haven't bought the book yet. I'm going to, because it was just Wednesday, busy. But I'm going to pull from what Lee trained us on to talk with all of you today. Okay, so shared by Keri Roeder. That's me. Okay, I don't want any copyright crap. Okay. Now, Steve uses the terms middle class versus world class. Okay, I'm going to change the terms to average people versus ACN leaders. Okay, so let's start. So average people versus ACN leaders. Average people, what is one of their mindsets? Well, they compete. Average people compete. ACN leaders, we create, right? We're creating the environment. We're creating something of significance. So average people avoid risk, right? ACN leaders, we manage risk. And really here in ACN, there is no risk, you guys. Like, what's the risk? It's a few $100, right? And your time, there's really not a risk. But what we do is we manage situations and people's mindset about risk. Okay, average people live in delusion. That is funny to me when I heard that. I was like, that's funny. Some Mr. Thomas would say. ACN leaders, we live in objective reality. Like, we see what is possible, and we go after what is possible. Average people love to be comfortable. They love to be comfortable on their couch. They love to be comfortable, on their couch. I don't know where else they would go. Like, I guess just their couch, right? Anyway, so ACN leaders are comfortable being uncomfortable, right? How many times have we heard Mr. P, Mr. Thomas, all the top producers say that? We need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You guys, this is not an ACN training. This is a financial advisor talking to a group of business owners, telling them how to have the proper mindset to have the wealth that they're looking for. Crazy, right? I was like, whoa, this is so cool. Average people have a lottery mentality. Hey, Mrs. Realtor, I paid my $325. Why aren't I rich yet? Because you partnered yesterday. Today's Tuesday. And, like, hey, how about you get some customers? How about we share the business with other people? Like, what? That lottery mentality is, and I don't mean to be mean. I guess I am being kind of mean, but what? If you have a lottery mentality, then no, the ACN's not for you. This takes consistent time, effort, right? Teachability, desire, but it takes time and it takes consistent effort. It doesn't happen overnight. ACN leaders, we have an abundance mentality, right? Be, do, have. We want the lifestyle that Mr. Thomas has. Like, I want to be able to be like, oh, I'm sitting in my chair from Paris. Like, I say that lovingly, but that's what I want, right? Like, I want to be able to have the lifestyle he wants. So when we have an abundance mentality, then we're able to attract what we need to attract. But see, here's the thing. When you on this call this morning, all 55 of you, all of you must have some level of an abundance mentality, okay? So here's the key. When you are interacting with the lottery mentality people, don't let them rob you. Don't let them bring you down. You keep your abundance mentality. And if anything, you help them rise, right? What's that saying? If you lower the bar, you lose winners. If you raise the bar, you get the winners, right? You guys stay in your abundance mentality. Average people hunger for security. I like working 9 to 5. Well, it's not 9 to 5 anymore, but whatever. I like working 9 to 5. I like knowing every 2 weeks I'm going to get this much money coming in. I like knowing that I pay $1,200 a month to have health insurance, my portion, so that if I go to the doctor, I still have to pay $8,000 a person and $12,000 a family. But I like knowing that the doctor that I'm going to go to accepts my insurance. I like knowing these things. Okay, well, cool. ACN leaders, we don't believe security exists. We know that we need to go out there and make it happen. We need to make it happen for other people. We need to create the security in the idea that we go out and we build a business, because the world is ever changing, you guys. We've experienced it, right? In the last handful of years, the world is ever changing. So security doesn't exist. Average people sacrifice growth for safety, because they like their safety, right? They like being comfortable. ACN leaders sacrifice safety for growth. We take risks. We go out there and we say, hey, listen, are you open to an additional stream of income in addition to your business? That is sacrificing safety, because you could be told no. You could be told, you could be made fun of, whatever. But the growth you experience when you are comfortable being uncomfortable, that's what we do. We sacrifice that safety net of, ooh, what are people going to think of me? Well, who cares, right? Who cares what people think of you? They're not paying your mortgage, by the way. Okay. Average people operate out of fear and scarcity. Average people operate out of fear. You saw it. I won't go there, but you saw it a handful of years ago. Okay. People who are living out, making decisions out of fear, making decisions out of the fear of the scarcity of what's going to happen. Well, ACN leaders, we operate from love and abundance. Love and abundance. You love the people you work with, and you help them have that abundance mentality. When you give, it comes back. It comes back to you fourfold, if not more. And maybe not directly from the person you're giving, but the universe will take care of you. Average people focus on having, the Joneses, right? Like, I live in a cul-de-sac. Um, and you could see it, right? It's the have, right? Well, ACN leaders, we focus on being. Be, do, have. Be, do, have. Be, do, have. Be Mr. Al Thomas. Do the work that it takes to get to have what it is that we want to have. But we focus on being and not on having. Average people see themselves as victims, right? Oh my gosh, the economy fell, blah, 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 whatever their victimness is. Okay. ACN leaders, we see ourselves as responsible. Yeah, you know what? The world is ever changing. And I am responsible to make sure that I do the work that it takes to generate the income that is necessary in order to provide for my child. So, I'm not going to, we all were affected by every time there's an up and down economy. We all are. So are you going to fall victim to that, or are you going to be responsible and build yourself an income that is more sustainable than what you have now? Average people slow down. ACN leader. Oh, look, I leadered. That's funny. Calm down. Whew. Like, okay, it's all good, right? We've got this. We've got you. Average people are frustrated. ACN leaders are grateful. You've heard this, right? Poop rolls uphill on ACN. Okay. Your bad attitude, all of that. We already talked about that earlier in the month, right? You're having a bad day, I shared with you, right? I shared with you what was going on, but that, these last 4 months have been complete awful. But I don't come up on these calls and when I do an ACN thing and I don't share, what's going on. I have gratitude and I'm grateful for the blessings that I do have, and for the idea that I can be on these calls and I can meet with people and I can give them a potential opportunity to do the work it takes to change their own lives. So, those who go around just like we've already talked about, spouting the negativity, you are being attractive. Who are you attracting? Eeyore or Tigger? Professional Tigger. Okay, average people have pipe dreams. And again, kind of back to that lottery mentality, right? Oh, someday I'm gonna be worth millions. Like, okay, but you know what? You need to actually do something to get that what you want. ACN leaders, we have vision. We have vision. I know. I was just telling this to somebody the other day. I know what I'm designed to do in ACN. I know, and I have not fulfilled that, by the way. But I know that I know for a fact what I am designed to do in ACN. I know. And I tease the top producers all the time. I'm like, step aside because I'm coming in, right? I have the vision. Now, is my journey taking me differently than how I wanted it to be? I wanted to be a senior vice president by now. I'm 14 years in. I should have been a senior vice president. Well, guess what? I still have the vision. I actually put on Mrs. Hunn's SVP ring the other day. Right? I have a picture of my hand with my SVP ring because that's my vision. And even though I haven't progressed to the point of being the #1 top producing senior vice president yet, doesn't mean I've lost my vision. It means that I need to continue to do the work. Okay. But I'm doing the work. I'm going through the muck and the guck and all of that in order to get to where I want to go versus having a pipe dream. I'm going to be a senior vice president, but I'm not going to talk to anybody. Like, you cannot be a senior vice president and not have a conversation with anybody. Okay. You can't even really get, well, anyway. Okay. Moving on. Average people are ego driven. It's all about me. It's all about me. Let me tell you how great I am. It's all about me. It's all about me, right? ACN leaders are spirit driven. We're spirit driven. How can we serve? How can we provide the environment where you can really thrive and be amazing and make it all about other people? Average people are problem oriented. All they see are the problems. Oh, my customer, their AT&T internet doesn't go to their address. Oh, they live in the mountains. T-Mobile network doesn't work really good, so they can't become a Flash Mobile customer, right? Oh, I wanted to do a quote for merchant services, but the owner wouldn't give the statements. Okay. ACN leaders are solution oriented. We talk about when something happens, we look at, okay, how can we solve through that? And we often tell you, listen, come to us with what's going on, because odds are we've either been through it ourselves, right? Or we've had somebody in our team or somebody that we support having gone through it. So we're going to be able to get you through. At this point with Mr. Thomas, there isn't anything he hasn't seen that he doesn't know how to problem solve. Okay. So if you go to him with an issue, he's going to be able to help you solve it. And it's really funny because for me, when people come to me and they're like, oh, Mrs. Roeder, and they're crying, I get all excited. And they're like, I'm upset. Why are you happy? Because when you have, one, let me help you with how to get through this. But two, when you have an issue, something's going on, that means you're actually working. You're working your business. When it's phone is silent from you, that means probably not much is happening, right? You're either calling because like Douglas Wolf, where you're in momentum, or you're calling because something went wrong. But that tells us that you're actually doing something to move your business, like Mr. Thomas says, forward, 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 right? Average people think they know enough. ACN leaders, we're eager to learn. We're constantly learning. We're all learning from each other. Even the newest person on this call, we learn from each other. Average people choose fear. ACN leaders, we choose growth. Mr. Provenzano says this is a personal development program with a compensation plan attached. The better of the person we become, the more we grow, the more we get compensated. Average people are boastful. Again, that whole ego-driven thing, right? ACN leaders, they're humble. If you really watch the people who consistently cross the stage in top production, they're humble. They're not walking around, oh, look how great I am, right? They're super humble. Average people trade time for money, and ACN leaders trade ideas for money. Average people deny their intuition, and ACN leaders, we embrace our intuition. Follow your gut. Right? When you interact with somebody and they're a stranger to you, but your gut says, oh, I should probably ask them, if they're open to extra income. Follow your intuition. Follow your gut. Don't, sacrifice fear for the growth. So really follow your intuition, because that will help you. Average people seek riches, kind of back to that, the Joneses concept. ACN leaders seek wealth. There is a big difference between being rich and being wealthy. And if you don't know it, ask a financial advisor, ask somebody like Mr. Thomas, who does have wealth. He has riches too, but wealth and riches are a two different concept. Average people believe their vision only when they see it. They have their pipe dream, right? And they'll believe it once it's accomplished. Well, ACN leaders, we know we will see our vision when we believe it. See, the be, do, have, we have to believe that we are top producing senior vice presidents, or whatever level you want. That's just mine. Okay. Not everybody wants to be a senior vice president. I learned that along the way. So whatever your goal is in ACN, believe it to be so. Be, do, have. But that also goes back to belief. And when we train events, we talk about that, right? Vision, excitement, action, results, right? That's the belief cycle. So just as ACN leaders, we know that when we believe our vision, it will happen. Average people coach through logic. ACN leaders coach through emotion. Average people speak the language of fear. ACN leaders, we speak the language of love. We serve. We are here to serve and help. Average people believe problem solving stems from knowledge. ACN leaders believe problem solving stems from will. So those are his slides. And it's interesting because if you really, where'd my glasses go? Somebody told me when I do this, I look like a kindergarten school teacher. Anyway, here we go. Okay, so let me summarize this for you. ACN leaders, or he calls them world class. We create, we manage risk. We're comfortable being uncomfortable. We have an abundance mentality. We don't believe security exists. We sacrifice safety for growth. We come from love and abundance. We focus on being. We see ourselves as responsible. We are grateful. We have vision. We are solution oriented. We're eager to learn. We choose growth. We're humble. We trade time or ideas for money. We embrace our intuition. We seek wealth. We know that we will see our vision when we believe it, and we speak the language of love. Well, check this out. I trained off of this years ago, not years ago, a couple times ago. Mr. Provenzano's attributes of success, the daily dozen. Some of you might remember this. And in here, he talks, I'm not, because we're out of time, he talks a lot about the same things that this financial advisor just trained on Wednesday to a group of business people in my community. So interesting that when we can adopt the right mental attitude, we can then do the work it takes to have what it is we're seeking in the ACN opportunity for us as individuals. I was so impressed that he was saying exactly what we teach in mindset. And he could see me. I was like coming out of my chair with excitement. And he called out. He's like, Keri trains in mindset in her ACN business. I was like, I do. And you're like saying all the right things. This is so cool. So I want you to really understand that when you adopt the right mental attitude, you can have what it is you want. We don't have time, but he has this little chart thing that talks about there's competence or consciousness. So poverty consciousness is 5%. Working class consciousness is 10% of the population. Middle class consciousness is 70%. Upper class consciousness is 10%. World class is 5%. So what percentage do you want to be a part of? Do you want to be upper class or do you want to be world class? Do you want to be an ACN leader and be a part of the 5% in thinking the correct way to do the work that it takes to have what it is we are looking for? So that's what I have today. I'm going to get the book. I'll read through it and let you know how it all is. Because you know me, I do what Mr. Larry Raskin says, read one good book 10 times. So I will get the book. I will let you know how it is. But I was just super impressed to be in an environment hearing an ACN mindset training, but I wasn't an ACN. It was for me, it was impactful. So get out there, network, meet amazing people. You will learn a whole lot from people when you stop and listen and all that. So I'm going to turn this back to our incredible senior vice president who, again, for those of you who are new, I really, really don't take him for granted. Take advantage of him. Use him as a tool. He is your best tool to help you grow. You hear him every Tuesday night. He does effective presentations because people see value. People get started. He helps people with customers. He helps people promote. I'm telling you, we as leaders learn from him, which is why we stalk him and follow him around everywhere we go when we see him. So I'm going to turn the call back to you, Mr. Thomas. Appreciate the time. Love you.